All right, it's another week and another great challenge for us as a football team. Obviously, Arkansas is one of the best teams in the country. Obviously, one of the best teams in our league, but this is going to be a great challenge for us. After going back and really looking at last week, we still are in search of a complete game, which we have not put together yet. So we've certainly got a lot of room for improvement left with our football team. But I was proud of the way they finished the game, as I said before. But we got to move forward today and get ready for, again, a great challenge from Arkansas.
Question? Chief, can you evaluate the way the secondary has played so far this year and what kind of challenge they'll face with Mallett and the receivers?
Well, obviously he is a great quarterback, and these probably collectively as a group has got to be one of the best, if not the best, group of receivers in the country. Definitely one of the best, and that's two pretty potent entities there when you put a quarterback and 3 or 4 wide receivers together that are that good. So obviously our challenge is huge. I think that our secondary's played well at times. I think there's some times when we definitely could have played better. But, again, we've played against some really good competition. And, getting ready for a game like this, I think that's helped us. When you've played against the South Carolinas and the Kentuckys that have some really potent firepower on offense, particularly in the passing game. So I think it's helped us. We've got to play better. If we're going to win Saturday and play well defensively, it'll have to be our best. It'll have to be our best day on defense up to this point.
Winning so many close games as you've had, how valuable is that when you go into a tough stretch like you're going into?
It is. It's extremely valuable. I think there's 3 games we've won by 3 points, and I think that as I've said many times, it does matter how you win them. And we found a different way to win this game this past Saturday night, and I think those are important. But when I say that we're still in search of that complete game, we would like to not be in those situations. And very proud of our team, the way they have continued to fight back and not look at the scoreboard and continue to find ways to win. But that's why I keep saying our football team is just got an enormous area of improvement left in terms of consistency, which I've been saying since the beginning of the year. So it's good that we're finding ways to win at the end. I just would like to play more consistent and better throughout.
Gene, you say you got enormous, but you got a 6-game in. Is this the point you are what you are, or is there always room for improvement?
I think it's a little of both. I think there's always room for improvement. I don't think there's any question. I mean, every coach is going to say that today. Every coach is going to say that today. Where I feel like our football team, when I talk about it specifically, I talk about, I'll give you a great example, special teams Saturday night. I thought we had a letdown on some special teams coverage elements that we haven't necessarily had in some of the other games. That's been really a great improvement over last year, and then we let 2 kickoffs get to almost, one past the 50, almost to the 50, and we can't play defense from there all night. And if you go back and look at the times where defensively we've given up points, many of those times it's field position issues. So things like that have kind of popped up that haven't popped up in recent weeks. I can say the same for defensive issues and offensive issues. First half offensively, we have a great first half, and we're really hard to stop. And the second, half we come out, and the first thing we do is turn the ball over. So I think those are glaring things, in my opinion, when I say we've got huge areas and room for improvement.
Gene, as far as Arkansas, all the focus has always been on Mallet and their explosive offense, but have you seen signs this year that their defense has taken steps forward?
Great question. You know, if you just look at the stats alone and see how many categories in this league their defense is in the top 2 or 3, I think their defense is playing extremely well right now. I think they're very aggressive. I think that if you go back and look at last year, the improvement, in my opinion, of their defense, it's night and day. They're playing with great confidence, very physical. They're in the right spots, and I think that that's, you know, one of the huge reasons that they're doing as well, you know, as they are. And I agree with you. You know, that the focus is always, you know, placed more on offenses if you have a good offense. But in this case, I think that the defense is certainly worthy to talk about because they're playing really well.
You guys are focused on stopping the run, and these guys don't run it that much or have it. Do you have to have somewhat of a different approach to a game like that?
No, Philip, I don't think so. I think that that's what you start, you know, every game with. And you know what? They've got big physical tailbacks, and I think the numbers that you may look at might be a little bit misleading. They can run the football, and I know Coach Petrino wants to run the football. There's no question in my mind. You know, that's something that's a huge part of their offense. So having the big physical backs and having an offensive line that's very physical, and with all those guys returning from last year, that's still got to be the first thing that we aim to do. It doesn't mean that we're going to neglect, obviously, the potency of their passing game, because we know exactly how good that is as well. But we'll start every week with everybody we play on what do we got to do to stop the run, and then we'll proceed from there.
Gene, punter, is Stephen Clark going to be your full-time guy, or is it going to be a competition?
I think there's always competition going on right now. And, you know, again, I made the comment earlier in the week that we're going to punt who we think gives us the best chance to be successful on that unit. And last Saturday night we felt it was Stephen. But I'll never close the door on any position because to me there's ongoing, you know, competition to see who, you know, who's going to be the guy. So that position's really no exception to that.
So is that something you guys watch real closely?
We do.
This week?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Coach, the scoring is up in the SEC higher than this year than ever. Why do you think it is? You talk about, you know, the offense. People always focus on the offense, but the offense has really been productive.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's kind of a unique year. I think that there's a lot of offensive talent in this league, top to bottom. There's great receivers week in and week out that you have to play against. I think the quarterbacks are extremely talented in this league, and you know, and there's obviously some great tailbacks in the league as well. I just think that, you know, it's hard to explain. You know, when I was in the Big 12 one year, I mean, it was, you know, an offensive, you know, track meet every week because of the quarterbacks and you know, and it just seems that this year is in the SEC. It's kind of maybe a little bit different year in terms of the explosiveness of some of the offenses. I don't know why that is. It just appears to be that way.
I guess the reason I'm asking that is because you know, they say defense wins championships. We know it does, but can this be a year where a prolific offense, you know, wins the championship?
I still would go back to your first part of that statement. I still believe that defenses play huge roles in winning championships, and I don't think that'll ever change. But let's not lose sight of the importance of an explosive offense as well. And you know, I think these days you got to have both. But I think this is just one of those years in this league where you're seeing some very talented guys offensively that are opening people's eyes. But I still think you have to play great defense, obviously, to win.
Coach, the players, they see this game as a revenge after what happened in Fayetteville last year. How much they embrace what happened last year and make a statement?
No, you know, I don't. We don't operate off the word revenge. I mean, 2009 was 2009, and 2010 is a different year. And you know, this is a very important game to us. Obviously, every one of our players would tell you that. It's as important as last week's conference game, and you know, 2 weeks ago our conference game. I mean, they're all extremely important, and it's really, you know, it's another Tuesday. We got to get better, and we got to prepare, and we know that again, this is a very, very good football team, and you know, for us to be able to win, we got to be better than we were the week before. So that's really the way we approach it, and it's not anything about what happened the year before or whatnot.
Kind of controlling tempo and time of possession is important every game. With their offense being as explosive as they are, how important is it to move the chains and get some sustained drive?
I think this week it's extremely important. I don't think there's any question about that. You know, the best defense is your offense being on the field, obviously. And that's something that we try to do. It's not like we don't try to do that every week, you know, but I think the importance and the significance of it this week is big because they, you know, obviously the explosiveness of their offense is huge. So the more we can be out there with our offense, the better.
Gene, Petrino said yesterday during his press conference that when he looked at the film for last year's game, it's like watching the same team this year because a lot of the players are back. Your defense, you use some of the same linebackers, obviously. Their offense, is it the same when you look at the film? Does that help you guys kind of scheme a little bit for this week?
You know, I mean, obviously we've gone back and we've looked at, you know, last year, and a lot of the same players. I would agree with that. You know, where that is on the whole scheme, I mean, it's, you know, we do that every week. You know, we go back and look and see, you know, if it was a common opponent with a common coaching staff compared to the year before, then obviously we really evaluate that very closely. So, but yeah, a lot of the same players. You know, Coach Petrino does a great job. He has his offensive concepts. He's not changing. His players aren't going to change. His concepts aren't going to change. It's really a game of execution, and they do a great job of what they do. We have to do a much better job this year all the way around, both offensively and defensively, of executing, you know, the football game, you know, executing in the football game. That's, you know, that's last year. You know, we sleptwalked for, seemed like for, you know, quarter and a half or two or whatever it was. We came back out. We started playing a little better the second half, but by that time it was too late. And so we got to have a fast start, and we got to execute better.
With you being only one of two undefeated teams left in the conference, is there any pressure going in now with Alabama losing? I mean, you guys, obviously, I know you guys take it one game at a time, but is there any pressure in the big picture?
I think there's, you know, for me personally, if you're asking that for me personally, there's no more pressure than there is every week because our team expects to win, our coaches expect to win, our fans expect us to win, and that hasn't changed, and it won't change 3 weeks from now either. So for me personally, no. As a football team, do they feel the pressure, and do they? I hope not. I hope that they kind of, again, it's business as usual in their mind. This is another Tuesday. It's another great opportunity to get out there and be a better football player this Tuesday than you were the Tuesday before. So I'm hoping that's the way our football team sees it. We don't talk about rankings. We don't talk about records. We don't talk about it. We just, you know, we just try to proceed.
Gene, who have you got to be your scout team quarterback to emulate Mallett?
Well, we'll see. You know, Mark, we're kind of throwing that back and forth. A lot of times during the week we'll rotate different guys. But we've got some really good quarterbacks that can throw the football. So it could be, you know, one of a few different guys.